Before we drill the hole, what we need to do is locate the area in which we're going to place the cap. By eye, I marked a center spot right there, a center vertical line, down the center of the tank, and then I'm going to determine where I want this to sit, this bung to sit, and make a cross line so that we can determine where we want the pilot hole to be drilled. Yeah, you can use any kind of punch to get a nice spot to drill the pilot hole. I have one that I use that's just an auto starret punch that I got at a used tool place. Probably one of my favorite tools. And we'll just place it right in here and we'll get a nice mark to be able to drill the hole. Use any kind of drill bit. On sheet metal, what I like to use though, it keeps it from really wanting to, when you especially go through thin sheet metal, it doesn't grab and want to twist it out of your hands. Just use a step bit. The pilot hole on the bimetal hole saws is a 1/4 inch hole, which is going to be the second step right here, and that's what we're going to drill up to with the drill. The hole that we're going to cut right here for the fuel cap bung really is determined what style fuel bung we have. We've got just a stepped fuel bung right here. It's going to slide down nice. Once we cut the hole, we can cut the hole a little bit bigger. Because of this top lip, we can shift it around if it's not perfectly centered. And we have a nice area to be able to throw a decent amount of heat there without worrying about warping the bung. If you have a straight bung with no lip, you're going to have to cut this hole a little bit smaller than you need to and then work with a half-round file to get a nice tight fit so that it's not sliding in and you're not trying to fill too many gaps with the weld. The bimetal hole saw that we're going to use for this bung is 1.5 inches, and you can see how it's going to cut approximately the size of the bung. If it's a little bit bigger, it's not that big of a deal because we do have this lip that's going to be able to shift around, and it doesn't have to be a tight, a friction fit when we put this on the tank. All right, what I do is I usually spray a little bit of WD-40 or some kind of like PB blast or something right there to act as a coolant for the bimetal hole saw. We'll get the tank in between my feet, paying attention to which way it's going to rotate when we go to cut. Get the bit set in the pilot hole and cut. We'll take a look at it and see how it's sitting, make sure we're getting an even cut so it's not going to break through and want to twist out on us. Got the hole cleaned up right here. Just the bung nice. A little bit of wiggle room here so that we can make sure that it's perfectly centered when we weld. Alright, we've got the angle drawn on the petcock bung, trying to match up with the angle of the tank where we're going to weld it. We'll cut it with an angle grinder with the cutoff wheel, and then place it against the tank and draw a profile to determine where we're going to drill the hole. We have the petcock bung cut at the angle we need. And place it on the tank and draw around it with a Sharpie so that we know where to drill our hole. All right. After subtracting the thickness of the petcock bung from the original outside drawn line, we determined this is the shape right here that we need to cut out of the tank. We'll drill into the center with a step drill bit, and then the final ovaling of the hole we'll do with either a round file or a die grinder. We've got the hole cut out, and the placement of the bung right over that hole to be welded.